Welcome aboard. Again, like I was mentioning, we are here each Friday at 10 a.m. and that is the time for Pennsylvania in the United States. All right. So if your time is important, considering joining us each Friday. Oh, nice. Even the chat, the live chat box is working perfectly. Yeah, that's awesome. Something new that we implemented today in today's live stream. We always try to improve, um, on what we do, either in AutoCAD or just a live stream feature. Now we have the chat box on the screen. Let's see if you guys like that. Our friend Enoch is on the chat also. Hi, Enoch. Hope you are doing great, my friend. I think you're new also to the live stream. If that's the case, welcome aboard. It says back again. Nice to be here. Hey, if you can give us your real name, Ekok VV, that would be great so we can better connect, right? Okay, so let me start getting ready over here on my second screen. I have three screens. One exclusively, one only for the chat and the live stream setup and all of that stuff. And I have another one over here in front of me with the Windows Explorer folder, Chrome, and so on. And then I have another monitor right here at the bottom so I can open up AutoCAD. And talking about AutoCAD, let me open it up for you so we can start getting ready for today's presentation, which is gonna be great. Probably you already know what are we gonna present today. It's about layers, and you're gonna love it, my friend. I use this technique over and over at the architecture office where I work, and just makes my life so much easier, right? One click and boom, my layers are the way I want it, the colors I want it. If I don't need a layer to show, boom, my layers are frozen. Basically, you can just manipulate or modify your layers with one single click, and we're gonna see that in today's live stream. All right, let me see. Okay, so let me share my screen right about here. And since I'm here, what I like to do is really quick duplicate these and say preparation. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do is add a I think I'm gonna add a text for now. That's crazy how I'm doing all of this live. I mean, for now, I guess it's fine. All right, let me start getting ready over here on my screen. We have some comments on the chat, and let me read those. Our friend, for some reason, I'm not seeing. Let me see over here. Nope, I didn't want to do that. Let's see what's going on. Okay, I can look. All right, great. Okay, guys. So let me start preparing, like I was mentioning. I'm gonna read your comments in a moment. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is start opening the AutoCAD files that we're gonna use today. Where is that? Let me see if I can share that too. Yep, this one. Yeah. So let me close. Okay. All right. So that's the proposed plan. Now let me go and open the XREF. Again, we're just preparing right now, guys. Don't worry. That's why I'm not explaining anything. We're gonna present in a minute. So that's the base plan and that's the proposed plan. Okay. Gonna need the layer palettes, yes. Gonna need the XREF palette. Yes, I believe. Okay. No, I think I'm gonna need. All right, guys. Hope you are doing great today. We're gonna start the presentation. Where is the chat? Right here. Oh, interesting. I see how this works now. So I have a chat box, and for some reason it wasn't showing the comments. I think once I need to have this chat box all the time on my screen, otherwise it won't update. That's crazy. All right, anyway, so let me read a couple of your comments before we start today's presentation. Orderly Free is on the chat and says, change those layers, bro. Change them, heck, while you're at it. Throw them too. Oh my. We're gonna see that today, my friend, how we do that with one single click. So we don't have to mess around with individual layers, right? And we'll see. Kota says, explain about Purge also. What specifically do you need to know about Purge, my friend Kota? Do you mean how to use the Purge command? Or, I don't know, what specifically do you need about Purge? For people who don't know, Purge is a command in AutoCAD to clean your drawings, right? Just type Purge, and you can say Purge all or not. What I like to do is use the command line version, so that way I can just say all or not from here from the command line. But let me know what you need to know specifically, my friend Kota. And then we have also our friend Orderly Free says that tenant sign needs a waterproof junction box. Yeah, my friend. I mean, these drawings that I have on my screen are, drawings that I quickly tweaked or modified depending on what I'm gonna explain, right? What I'm gonna present. It's not, a true or full or complete construction documents, or this one I just made it up, a bunch of squares to represent front counter and some equipment really quick for you. It's not that, you know, it's accurate or anything. But that was a good one, my friend. Orderly free. We have another comment from G. Mo Martinez. Hi, Jimo Martinez. Says thanks again, buddy. Yeah, I think you're new to the live streams, Jimo Martinez. If that's the case, welcome aboard. We're here each Friday at 10 a.m. We used to be or show up at 9, but we did once 10 a.m. and it looks like there were more folks connected, and that's why we are trying this new schedule, 10 a.m. each Friday, a new live stream, a new AutoCAD task to streamline, to automate, to simplify our lives. Let's see. Orderly free says, dock that floating command prompt. You mean the command line? Guillermo. Hey, Guillermo. Okay, I think now that I know your name, and if you keep showing up each Friday, of course, I'm gonna remember you. Guillermo. Hope you are doing great, Guillermo. All right, so let's go back, and I believe we're ready to present, guys. We are ready to rock and roll. Let me see over here. Okay. All right, let's start, guys. Let's start. Let me jump to the presentation screen. And as always, if you have any questions, suggestions, ideas from the presentation, put it in the chat. I'll stop in the middle of the presentation to see if you have any questions. Otherwise, we are going to have a Q&A by the end of the presentation also, so you can ask your AutoCAD questions and get answers in real time. All right. Our friend Orderly Box, that doesn't want to give us his real name, says, is this happening every Friday? Very cool. Yeah, my friend, we've been doing this for many years already, if you didn't know. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Let me show you our YouTube channel over here. So, oops. Right here, that's our channel. And if we go to our live page, you can see that we've been doing this for many years already, my friend. So of course, through the years, we started doing our live streams every Sunday, if I remember correctly, at 10 a.m. But now we tweak it, and we are now live every Friday. But you can see we've been keeping consistent with our live shows for many years. Like I was telling you, my friend, Orderly Free. It's hard to remember your name, but so yeah, we're starting doing these live streams, not every week, but we combine it first with regular recorded videos here and there. But now we are focusing on providing our AutoCAD content only with live streams. That's the beauty, and that's what set us apart from other AutoCAD channels, right? that we are the only AutoCAD channel that does their content live, right? So that's something different, right? I know it's not easy. It's not gonna be easy because, you know, we might have problems. We might encounter some technical difficulties, whatever, and we are alive. We just have to deal with it and try to solve them. But I like that interaction that I have with you right now on the other screen, and yeah, I start enjoying more and more these live streams, and boom, we are just a live stream AutoCAD channel now. Let's see, Guillermo. Okay, Enoch Bebe says, great work, bro. Thank you, Enoch Bebe. Did you give me your real name? Let's see. No, you didn't. Enoch Bebe. Nope. Anyway. Enoch Bebe says the name is Enoch. Anok. Okay. Oh, that's your name? Okay. Anok. Alright, Anok. Thank you for letting us know that. Guillermo says, I do have a question for you. Do you know how to get rid of those hidden anonymous blocks? XXX. Do you mean to erase them or to get rid of what, the name? So if your question is, I don't have one, of course, right now, but if let me share my screen. If your question, Guillermo, is, let's see if I have a block. Your question is how to remove the name. Well, one way you can do it is, let's see, what's the name of this block? Okay, door new. So what you can do is rename it. If this have a weird name and you want to keep your block, you can just use the command rename, and then of course find your name for the door, right? And then you can rename it door, and then click OK, and that will update the name for your weird name block. But let's see if you have another follow-up question. You cannot purge them. Oh, you want to get rid of them? Yeah, I mean, if you cannot purge it, it means the block exists in your drawing. So what you want to do is, my friend Guillermo, let me share my screen. So again, if you cannot purge those weird name blocks, it's because the block physically exists in your drawing and you're not seeing it. So what you want to do is, let me see if I can find a... Yeah, I know what you mean, Guillermo. Those blocks, yeah, let's start with an asterisk and blah blah blah. Yeah, I mean, again, if you cannot purge them, it's because they physically exist in your drawing. So what you want to do is find them and erase them first, and then you can purge your drawing and you'll get rid of them. But that's the only way, my friend, to just physically find it in the drawing and erase it. And you know, there are many tricks for that. If you know the layer of this block, you can isolate the layer, right? And you'll see only your blocks, and that way you can physically delete them from your drawing. I think we also did an entire video about that, my friend. Let me see if I can find it for you. But that's basically what you gotta do. Where is the... Okay, so if you go and to our channel, not here, to home, and you type purge, let's see. Yeah, so we have all kind of solutions, Guillermo, here on the channel. 5 ways to reduce AutoCAD file size. Those are 5 techniques to erase or purge drawings. So you can check those. And also, if you, after watching these lessons, you still have the problem, you can always send me an email with your drawing and see if we can do a live stream about it, right? Guillermo. Okay, so I guess we're ready to start, guys. Guillermo says, I think these are nested inside other blocks. Yeah, that might be the case also, Guillermo. So again, you just need to physically find them and delete them from your drawing. Okay. All right, guys, let's start. Let's start right away. Guillermo says, okay, thanks. All right, let's state the problem. On my screen, I have a floor plan that is xrefing a base plan right about here. And this is a common practice to create a proposed floor plan. The problem is that every time I create a floor plan, I need to change or modify some of the properties of certain layers, specifically for the new items. For example, I'll have to come here, and since this is a new counter, what I do is I try to find that layer on my layer palette and type maybe equipment, and then find that layer and then change the color. It's this layer, of course, as you can see. Change the color to color red, because that will print darker on my drawing, and I like to differentiate the new items from the existing items. Not only that, but I'll have to freeze some layers that I don't need on my proposed floor plan. So again, this is a tedious task that I need to repeat over and over for my proposed floor plans. So let's see how we can streamline that process today together. All right, so that's the task for today. And hopefully, again, you're gonna learn something useful today. Let me fix some of these layers. Okay. All right, so that's the task that we're gonna automate today together. Okay, in order to do that, I'm gonna create a custom macro command. So to create a macro command, we can open the brand new command macros palette. I mean, it's not really brand new, but AutoCAD just gave us this palette maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and not many folks know that it exists. So I'm gonna right click and anchor it to the right for now, so it doesn't block our screen right here. So we have one command here. Again, if you don't have this palette for any reason, there's no problem, because you can use your tool palette also. I'm gonna open it with Control-3 on my keyboard, and you can see that's the tool palette, and we have created hundreds of AutoCAD macros. We call it lazy commands on our tool palette. So again, there's no excuse for you to not save time, right? So on your tool palette, you can just drag anything. So for instance, a rectangle, you click and drag it to your tool palette and release it. And that way you can right click and start writing your macro command right about here. Okay, so but for the purpose of this video, and since AutoCAD provide us now our nice and neat command macros palette, we're gonna utilize this window today. Okay, so over here we'll have some commands that AutoCAD gave us, so we're gonna reuse those. So I'm gonna right click and go to the command macro editor. Over here on this window, I'm gonna rename my command. Do you have any good ideas for this name that's gonna simplify our proposed floor plans layers, changing colors, freezing some layers, and so on? Any good ideas for a name, guys, for this command, for those folks that are live with me right now? Otherwise, I might call this lazy layer maybe lazy layer changes. I don't know. Our friend says lazy layers. Yeah, but lazy layers, like if I share this command with another folk at the office, he wouldn't understand what lazy layer does, right? Maybe lazy layer floor plan? I don't know. That's all up to you guys, but let's keep it lazy layer changes for now. Good try though, Enoch. Okay. All right. Over here, of course, we can add a description for our command. I don't know. This command will update layer colors and freeze layers not needed in a proposed floor plan, something like that. Now you can even specify an image over here for your new command, so you don't have to, so it's easier for you to recognize it, right? But once we do that, we can expand the macro section over here. And when I erase all of this, because we don't need, this is again for a past command that we created on the channel. I think was the lazy hatching, that quickly create hatches using rectangles with a specific hatch, specific layer, specific scale, and yeah, anyway. So once we are here, we need to start telling AutoCAD how do we want our layers to change on this floor plan. Like I was mentioning, I need on my proposed floor plan to anything that is new to show up as red, because when I print or PDF my drawing, it will show very dark or darker, and that way I like to differentiate the new from the existing items. Okay, so let me go over here then, and what we can use is the command layer. So the command layer, or the layer command, if we just use the layer command, I'm gonna press the semicolon, it's an enter on my keyboard, so layer and enter. So if we just use the layer command, we will have a window dialog box, and we want that. Don't want that. Because when we create macros, we try to avoid any windows or pop-outs. So that's why we use this character to tell AutoCAD that I want the command to run or be used on the command line That's what we call this, the command line version of the command layer. Anyway, once we utilize the layer command, we will have different options. If you don't know, let me click and accept that for now, so I can show you what I'm talking about. So if we just click this right now, you can see all of the different options that we have because we just activated the command line version of the layer command. Okay, so over here, again, we don't want to click. We want to specify a letter, maybe M, if we want to make a layer, but we don't want to make a layer. What we want is to change the color. So you can see over here there is an option for color. It's right here, and it also should be over here. Let me move this. It's right here, color. So we can say C for color, and we can type the entire color text. So I'm gonna type C and press enter. And now we can specify a new color, and that's the color that we need to change, and we set red. Now, instead of typing red, what we can do is, if we go to our, let me cancel this. If we go to our layer palette and try to change one of these layers, color, you can see on this select color pop out that these colors have a number. And if I hover on the red color, the index color is the number 1, and that's the one that we're gonna specify in our macro command, color number 1 for red. Okay, so let's do that. So I'm gonna go back to the command macros and say macro editor, and then expand our macro code here. So remember how we did it on the command line? We said C for color, and we press enter, right? And then we're gonna say 1, because that would be the color. And always remember to press another enter to accept your selection. So 1 and enter, that for red. Now, if we run this on the command line, what's gonna happen is, let me click and run. You can see that now there is another follow-up question, and the question is, enter the name list of layers for color 1. So that's where we need to know the names of our layers so we can input it. Okay, so for that, I'm gonna cancel and go and open, of course, this base plan. So I'm gonna right click and say open XREF, and that's the base plan XREF on my proposed plan. And that's a common practice, right, when we create proposed floor plans. Now, this is one of the layers, a floor case, that is new. Anything that has the A, we like to put any new items starting with the A, and anything that is existing, we like to say EX for existing. So again, that depends on your company preferences or standards, but for this purpose, that's what we're gonna use. So again, this is another layer, A equipment. That means this is a new equipment. Let's see over here. We have X plumbing or equipment plumbing, that's existing. We're gonna leave that as is, but this one, A equipment plumbing, that's new. So we're gonna change those colors also to red. Okay, so now that we know which layers we need to change colors, of course, this door, it's also a door, that means it's new. Also want these doors to be color red. So let's go back here on our proposed floor plan and go back to our macro editor. Remember what happened when we used our lazy layer changes command, AutoCAD asks us to put the names of our layers, right? Now, I'm gonna start typing the layers. So I'm gonna say A dash floor case. I'm gonna press enter. Now, if I click OK, let me see. Okay, let me go back to the command macro. I forgot something here. So once we want to finalize completely our macro command, we need to, instead of one enter, we need to press a second enter to accept all of those changes. So that's what I did, and I'm gonna click OK. Now, if I go back to our base plan, let me find the layer that I specify, a floor case. Here we go, that exists there. So if I test this and use the lazy layer changes and click on it, you can see that nothing really happens. Nothing is happening. And we expand the command line version, we can see what's the problem, what's going on. We initiated the layer command. We are specifying the color option, and when asking, we're saying color 1 or red. And then when asking for the name of the layer, we're saying a floor case. And AutoCAD is giving us an answer: no matching layer names found. But why or how? Well, it's because this layer, its name, since it's been an XREF, if we go to our layer palette and try to find this floor case layer, is right here, as you can see. Let me see if I can expand this. But you can see that this layer, it's now a XREF layer. It's not a regular layer. You can see it has this this line over here, and has the XREF name of the plan, which is LazyArquitecto FP4. So that's the reason why it's not recognizing the layer name, because now it's changed since it's been XREF'd in another drawing. However, if we go here on our base plan, the layer exists right there, and if we use, it should work. Let me test it. So I'm gonna click, and boom, you can see how it immediately changed one of our layers to color red. But we don't want that over here on our base plan, because we might have already some color standards that we use in our office for our base plan. And we want to change the color specifically on each plan. So I'm going to undo that with Control Z. Okay, so we need to find a way to update it here in the XREF, right? So the way we're going to do it is, remember on our layer palette for the layer, let me find it again. We have this character, this line. I don't know the exact name, but I can reuse this character right here. So that way I can tell AutoCAD that I want to freeze the A floor case XREF layer. Okay, so let's see how we do that. Okay, let me go back to the command macros, and over here say, again, add before my layer name this character. That's the character that we saw on our XREF layer, remember? Now, I want to say again, because the name is gonna change of our XREF drawing, right? You're never gonna have the same name for your XREF, so we need to find a way to work for any XREF, for any proposed plan, right? Or maybe you might have a store one floor plan. Another person might have museum one floor plan or something like that. So we can use this asterisk then to make it work with any drawing or any XREF. Okay, so once we do that, we also want this asterisk over here next to it. And let's test this. Let's see if this works now on this XREF. I'm gonna click OK. And let me test it. Gonna click and boom. It's working beautifully now over here on the XREF. So let me stop for a moment and go to the chat and see if you were following along with the presentation, and then we can continue. All right, so let me see if you have any questions. And what do you think so far, by the way? Do you know that we could control our layers with one single click? Do you know that? Okay. If there are no questions, I'm gonna keep with the presentation. I'm gonna continue. Let me go on the chat. Okay. All right. Now, in the same way that we change the color for our floor case equipment, I want to also change the colors for this equipment layer, as well as this plumbing equipment that it's new also, and for these doors also. Okay, so let's go back to our command macro and add those layers. So I already know the name of those layers. So what I can do is separate these layer names with a comma, like so, and then I can type the name again of my next layer. In this case, it's gonna be equipment, and would be plumbing, like so. Now remember, very important to use always these 3 characters that represent that the layer is within an XREF, is an XREF layer. Otherwise, it won't work. So I'm gonna go ahead and paste it like so. Now, instead of me typing another equipment layer name, I'm just gonna remove the plumbing portion, because I might have equipment plumbing, equipment sewer, equipment whatever, right? There are many types of equipment, so I don't want to start typing all of those names. What I can do is remove this plumbing portion and simply add another asterisk, so that way AutoCAD will change anything that has the equipment text on the layer name. Okay, so let's quickly test that. So I'm gonna click OK, and let me go ahead and test it. I'll click and boom, you can see with one layer name our equipment right over here was changed to color red, as well as our equipment plumbing at the same time. Great. Now to finalize, I'm gonna change the colors of the doors also that are new. So I'm gonna go ahead and right click, go to the command macro, and say over here, comma, say a dash door. And don't forget to use again your 3 characters for your XREF layer. So I'm gonna paste like so. Now, you can see over here that I also have some layers that I don't need on my proposed floor plan. There is a demo layer right here. Do you see it? I don't want to, each time that I need to do my proposed floor plan, to be able to freeze or don't freeze layers. I might forget. So that's why let's try to implement also how to freeze some layers over here with our lazy layer changes. So the way we're gonna do it is utilizing the layer command again that we use over here. So I'm gonna copy that and paste it right about here. So the layer command. Now, when we use the layer command, do you remember there were multiple options, right? So one of those options is also to freeze a layer. And the character that we need for that was the F for freezing layers. And then once we say that, we need to also input the names of our layers that we want to freeze. In this case, I know my layers, so I know it's the demo layer. Remember, we need the 3 characters. I'm gonna copy that and paste it right about there. And of course, we need an enter to accept that. Now, remember, to accept everything, we need to press another enter. So I'm gonna press another enter right there. So I'm gonna click OK. And wait a second, I also don't need this data equipment over here. So let me go and find that layer. Of course, this is the demo. We already included that on our lazy command, but this data equipment, we also don't need it. So e-data. So let me go back to the code and add that layer with a comma, e-data. And of course, I'll copy my 3 characters for the XREF to specify that this is an XREF layer. So I'll click OK. And it's the time to test our floor plan, our proposed floor plan. In this case, what I'm going to do is revert those layer changes. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to color and again revert some of these layers that we change. I'm gonna reset XREF layer properties, all properties, and now you see whenever we start a proposed floor plan, all we gotta do is to tweak or modify our layers, go back to our lazy layer changes and click on it, and boom, you can see immediately some of those layers were frozen, such as the demo data. Some of those layers were changed to color red to represent new items. So that way, when we create our print or our PDF, you can see the new differentiate from the existing, and your drawings will look much, much professional. All right. So here you have it, folks. Let me jump to the chat really quick now. See, what do you think about this technique, this custom command? I use it over and over at the architecture office where I work to simplify my life, so I don't have to do things manually over and over. All right. Okay. So Let me see if there are questions. Let me go back to the chat. Our friend Guillermo, I believe. Yeah, Guillermo. Says no question. All right, so that means you were able to follow along with the presentation. That means I was clear on each step that we went over, so that's great. Enoch says just one click with a happy face. Let me see. Enoch says, how do we undo? To undo, you can just do Control Z a couple of times, right? That's how you do it. Or you can do it the way I did it, which was going to your layer palette, select your layers, and then just right click and reset the properties for your layers. So the same way I did it, Enoch. Let me see, we still have some questions. Some time for Q&A before we wrap up today's presentation. Enoch says, thanks, bro. Yeah, Enoch. Did you enjoy today's presentation? What do you think? And we could go even farther, right, and start changing more properties of a layer, like its line type. I remember I have another command for ceiling plans. Again, same process that we create our command for our proposed floor plan. You can do the same for your ceiling plans, right? Change some colors, freeze some layers, and even go farther. On my ceiling plans, what I did is sometimes on my base plan we have some layers that have the hidden line property, right? Meaning are showing dashed, maybe for a soffit or for a canopy. But then on your RCP, I had to, manually change these layers and make it continuous, because on a ceiling plan, you will see these items such as canopy, soffit with a continuous line. So instead of me doing this manually, I again implemented it in my lazy command RCP, a way to change the line type. Instead of hidden, change it to continuous on my ceiling plans. So you can do all type of changes with your layers. It's just, you just have to be creative with it and see what do you need to change, update, and then thanks, bro. Says Enoch says, very good, bro. I feel like I don't know anything. You are really helping, bro. Hey, Enoch, do you work with AutoCAD? What's your field? If for folks that don't know, I'm in the architecture field. I use AutoCAD every day at the office, at the architecture office where I work, for architecture plans, architecture drawings, construction documents, and you name it. Well, what about you, Enoch, Guillermo? Okay. All right. Okay, I think we're gonna stop right here. Let me close this. And if you ever feel stressed out, if you feel that an AutoCAD task is taking you so long, there is a better way, my friend. Join our LazyArquitectos and work smarter, not harder. So I invite you to do that. Again, if you work with AutoCAD professionally and you care about your time, you want to work easily in AutoCAD, like I explained and tell multiple times, when I work in AutoCAD, I have fun. I never feel stressed out because everything is, the tasks that I do are efficient. I do it in an efficient way. If it's taking me too long, I always create different ways to, again, automate it, streamline it. So yeah, so I invite you to do that. Our friend Guillermo says, let's see. Enoch says, in the structural field, use AutoCAD every day. The shortcuts are really helping. Thumbs up, bro. Hey, Enoch, I'm glad that you are finding our content useful. So that means we're gonna keep doing our videos, our live streams. We're gonna keep showing up each Friday, even though we're sick, even though we're busy, because if you didn't know, I'm taking the architecture exams right now to be a licensed architect here in the United States, so we can better provide you better content. And now I can finally be the LazyArquitecto, the lazy architect, right? Because I cannot call myself an architect yet, but I'm almost there, guys. But anyway, I'm glad that you are on the structural field. That's interesting. I know for sure in the structural field there are multiple tasks that you can automate. That's for sure, because I got contacted from clients that are in the structural field, and they need certain automations, maybe for blocks, for concrete slabs. I remember I worked with a client one time where he had to manually divide the length or by the thickness of the concrete slab or something like that, and he had to do it every time over and over. So we helped him with a dynamic block. We added smart text that will calculate again the length divided by, I don't remember if it was the thickness or something, and boom, he didn't have to do anything. He just had to refresh his block, and boom, the numbers were there. That was crazy, but we did that anyway. So Guillermo says, I do work for an architecture firm in Hotlanta. Hotlanta? Is that in the US? Where is that, my friend Guillermo? For people who don't know, I'm in Pennsylvania in the United States. That's where I am. But originally, I'm from Peru in South America. If you don't know Peru, that's Machu Picchu, the Cusco. That's how many people knows Peru, because Machu Picchu or Cusco. But that's where I was from. That's why Spanish is my first language and not English. Oh, Guillermo says Atlanta, Georgia. Oh, gotcha, Guillermo. That's great, my friend. So we are, not, I don't know, maybe there are folks here also that are from New Jersey, and we are so close, just 1 hour to New Jersey. Our friend Douglas. I didn't see Douglas for a long time already. Hope he's doing great. But he was in architecture. No, he was a GC, a general contractor, if I remember correctly. All right, guys, I'm gonna stop right here. Hope you got a wonderful. Hope you're gonna have a wonderful rest of the day, and I'll see you here next Friday at 10 a.m. Bye bye.